Hello everyone, Batman Month continues on the channel. Recently I went over my favorite Batman films of the 90s and 2000s, and today we're going to tackle my favorite Batman films of the 2010s. The 2010s was a golden age of Batman in media, whether it be video games, television, film, animation, or comics. It was quite an exciting time, and I really didn't realize until doing this video how much Batman content we had from this decade. I mean, it really was a great time to be a Batman fan. I'll share my least to most favorite films, and it won't cover all the films of the 2010s, but just my favorite. So on this video, it'll be a little bit different with 15. Feel free to share your favorite Batman films of the 2010s down in the comments below. With my least favorite would probably be Suicide Squad, the first one. I would still love to see David Ayer's cut, but this is a very kind of generic, kind of popcorn film. You could tell after the Bohemian Rhapsody trailer that a trailer company went and re-edited it to make it more like a Guardians of the Galaxy, which is no surprise since it got James Gunn to do the Suicide Squad. This one, though, takes a lot of influences from the animated series and the New 52 comics primarily, especially with Jared Leto's Joker. They kind of do the whole New 52 thing, but if he had grills and tattoos, he was like gangster Joker. That's one thing I do like, is it kind of gets back to the mobster element that Jack Nicholson had. Margot Robbie is perfect as Harley Quinn, Will Smith as Deadshot. I love the humor here. Viola Davis is perfect as Amanda Waller. And it does have some action scenes. This is set with Batman's Rogues Galleries in the DC world. We get to see Ben Affleck's Batman make an appearance post-BVS. Two encounters, one with Deadshot and then another with Harley Quinn and Joker. I love that chase when he gets in the car. That's like something straight out of the animated series. I can't help but feel it's over-edited. And because of that, it's lower on my list. It could have used a little bit more Batman. It could have used a little bit more of that mad love history that was hinted at in the trailers. It's an enjoyable film, but definitely one of my least favorites of the DCEU and just one of my least favorite Batman projects of the 2010s. Next up is a better Suicide Squad film with Batman Assault on Arkham. I love this in the Arkhamverse. Pretty much Batman going to Arkham Asylum and then Task Force X having to get involved, all hell breaking loose in Arkham. You have Kevin Conroy reprise his role as Batman. Any Batman fan and any Arkham fan would greatly appreciate this, and it's short, sweet, and to the point. Next up is Son of Batman. This is one of the first ones of the DCAU that had Jason O'Mara voice Batman. Kind of mixed on his performance compared to other actors like Bruce Greenwood or Kevin Conroy. But what's cool is that we get the animated introduction of Damian Wayne, and they do the whole like son storyline like in the comics where you get Damian Wayne introduced. You get to see how he's raised by the League of Assassins with Ra's al Ghul. Deathstroke is involved, and Deathstroke thinks he is the father. He thinks Damian is his son, so he's after Talia. So to protect their kid, Talia takes Damian to Bruce, who is actually the father. And you get a Batman-Deathstroke confrontation. I love this, not only dealing with that, but then dealing with Damian being a bit more excessive, violent, willing to kill people, unlike Batman. So he kind of has to straighten him out. You know, he wasn't around to be a father figure like he was to Dick Grayson, Tim Drake, or even Jason Todd. This is a completely different monster. But you do get to see Robin and Batman grow, and that's something that's different, is that is actually his biological son. So that's something very different that we've never seen too much outside the comics. Next up is Justice League Flashpoint Paradox. This movie is awesome. I wish we got a live-action Jeffrey Dean Morgan version of this. Instead, we got the Michael Keaton return with the Flash in the 2020s, but Flashpoint Paradox is based on the comic. You have Jeremy Chambers as Barry Allen, but in this, you have two Batmans. That's right, you have Kevin Conroy reprise his role as Bruce Wayne, and then for Thomas Wayne's Batman, you have Kevin McKidd. We see in this dark world with the Atlanteans and Amazonians fighting one another, skinny Superman who landed in like a lab in Russia, so like, yeah, it's some crazy stuff. This is a dark timeline, and of course, the Reverse Flash. And I also love Barry not only saving his mother, but then losing his powers, so him having to find a way to get his powers back, but then also find a Batman we discover in this universe, this paradox. Bruce is the one that got killed. Martha and Thomas lived, so it's Thomas Wayne Batman, and I love this. This is such a cool Elseworlds kind of like paradox story that reset it literally the DC animated universe and the comics at the time. Next up is Batman Year One. This is one adaptation that is actually 100% faithful to the comic, but for some reason it doesn't have the same effect as reading the comic. I don't know, it's different. It's not like Dark Knight Returns to me, but I love seeing Ben McKenzie as Bruce. That's right, Commissioner Gordon from Gotham. And then you also have Bryan Cranston as Commissioner Gordon. He is perfect. The fact that I never got him in live action, I mean, what the hell. You also have Elijah Dushku as Catwoman, and I love the soundtrack, New Dawn Phase by Moby in the credits. I love it. This is a perfect adaptation, has that 80s aesthetic. The narration, like in the comic, you can tell it's that film noir kind of Frank Miller vibe that you get from Dark Knight Returns and Sin City. And not only is this a great Batman film as far as like year one, this is a very underrated Commissioner Gordon story. Probably one of the best James Gordon stories we have. I love seeing Batman discover how to be a vigilante, getting the inspiration on how to be Batman, fighting crime, dealing with the police who don't 100% trust him yet, dealing with corruption. James Gordon's on the same page even though he's on a manhunt after the Bat. You get to see why he trusts him. You get to see why he's a figure and why they both need each other. Wonderful film all the way to that ending with like the Joker tease. Batman Begins was heavily influenced from this story. And this is just a wonderful one-to-one adaptation of the comic. After that is Justice League Crisis on Two Earths. Oh man, is this awesome. You have William Baldwin as Batman, but who could forget James Woods as Owlman? Yeah, this deals with the Justice League fighting a parallel universe version of them, the Crime Syndicate. Instead of Superman, it's Ultraman. They get to meet their negatives. And William Baldwin has the best line where he's just like, we both stared in that black abyss. And when it stared back at us, you blinked. Just like the most badass Batman line. I love that moment. And William Baldwin's perfect. I mean, his brother played the Shadow, so like, he's perfect for it. I love this, seeing the Justice League deal with their dark negatives, fighting Lex, fighting the Crime Syndicate. And it's like a lesson of like, here's what the Justice League would be if they didn't have their values, their morals, their ethics. And we get to see that. But then we also get to see them kick their parallel universe's asses, and I love it. After that is Justice League Doom. This was one of the last things that Dwayne McDuffie wrote, and it's basically an adaptation of Tower of Babel, but instead of Ra's al Ghul, we have Vandal Savage. Phil Morris, that's right, he's no stranger to comics. We have Martian Manhunter from Smallville, Cyrus Stone from Doom Patrol, playing Vandal Savage. We get to see his origin, and he pretty much uses Batman's contingency plans against the Justice League. We have Mirror Master infiltrate the Batcave. Batman, for worst case scenario, made plans to kill each member of the Justice League. How crazy is that? Well, the villains use Batman's plans against everyone. You get to see Martian Manhunter burn. You get to see Superman shot with kryptonite. I mean, it is nuts. Fear Toxin with Wonder Woman fighting a bunch of cheetahs. Like, it is nuts. Not only like them dealing with that, but then Batman dealing with the fallout of those actions, his information being compromised. There's that trust that's broken, but they must work together one last time to save the world from annihilation, basically. It ends where Batman leaves the Justice League. They don't trust him, but Superman knows deep down that he did the right thing. So he says, like, always be there in case we need you. And he's like, I will. Batman's always been a loner. He's not really been a team player unless you count like Super Friends and stuff. Like, he always has a contingency plan for everything. He is the living manifestation of destiny, like Ethan Hunt. Not only is this great showing the Justice League, but this like showcases Batman as a character, his strengths and flaws. Next up is the Lego Batman movie. Oh my gosh, I love this with Will Arnett as Batman. This film was made for every Batman fan of any age. It's a love letter to the 80 plus years of The Dark Knight. It really is. To the movies, Zach Galifianakis as Joker. We get Billy D. Williams as Two-Face Lego. I love them making fun of all the periods of history. Michael Cera is great as Robin. There's some adult humor where it's just like, hello Bruce, my name's Richard Grayson, but my friends call me Dick. And he's like, kids can be so cruel. Like, there's some crazy humor in this. The Justice League not inviting Batman to a party, and really it's a film that goes deep down and understands Batman as far as like needing family, needing people in his life. He's isolated, he's lost everyone, and that's one thing he's afraid of, is losing family, losing people, because it happened with his parents. Rosario Dawson as Barbara Gordon, Hector Lozano as Commissioner Gordon. I mean, there's even some other cameos from Superman, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, and Godzilla, and all the other stuff, but like, this movie is just a fun ride, hilarious, and it's a feel-good Batman movie that really gets the character. And it's also a satirical film that is just one giant love letter. Just one of my favorite animated Batman films from the decade. Next up is Batman vs. Two-Face. This is the last performance we got from Adam West as Batman. And what makes this crazy is we get a villain that was never on the TV show in the form of William Shatner. And they actually make William Shatner look like 1960s William Shatner, like his Twilight Zone, Star Trek era William Shatner. And I love this with a modern twist. Seeing Julie Newmar, Burt Ward, Adam West reprise their roles. Other voice actors sound like Bookworm and other characters. You get Hugo Strange and Harleen Quinzel here. This version of Two-Face is just nasty as far as like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I also love that in the last fight, we don't have Pal Bam. It's a full-on brawl. I've never seen Adam West have a full-on brawl with like Two-Face or anyone in this. And this was one hell of a way for Adam West to go out. They're planning on another film, but I mean, he could not have ended in a better way. Even down to Selena Kyle and the whole reference to Dark Knight Rises. I love that. Holy Hugh Hefner Batman, you know. Batman vs. Two-Face is a funny, feel-good movie and the slapstick kind of tongue-in-cheek, self-aware humor of the Dozierverse. But then it adds a more modern element that we get to see Batman get his hands a little bit more dirty and get a bit more rough than we did before. And I love it. William Shatner versus Adam West. I mean, it can't get any better than that. Batman Gotham by Gaslight. This, of course, is an adaptation of the first Elseworlds comic. I love this. It's a Victorian-era Batman where Batman has to fight Jack the Ripper. This is some crazy Elseworlds material. I love the nod to Johnny Gobbs from Batman 89. All the orphans being like the names and looks of like the different Robins. Selena Kyle, Harvey Dent, how they have them in this universe. Gordon, and there's some crazy twists as far as like Jack the Ripper and Batman, and I love it. Bruce Greenwood reprises his role. It's great seeing a different era because I loved his voice in Under the Red Hood, but like this one, it's a very different Batman, and I like that they kept it to that technology. They didn't try to like modernize it. Like, no, they kept it true to the time period. And with the twists and turns, this is an adult take that's animated, and it's just one of my favorite Batman stories. Like, Elseworlds is not taken fully advantage of sometimes. Like, this is what Elseworlds was made for stuff like this that you wouldn't normally do in a regular comic continuity. Next up is Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Oh my god, Ben Affleck was awesome in this. This was so heavily influenced by Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns. Henry Cavill returns as Superman from Man of Steel, and we get to start not only with the death of the Waynes, but Bruce Wayne's perspective of the Black Zero event. That was just so nuts, seeing that, how they set up the struggle and his bias against Superman. This is a Batman who's really lost. He's 20 years ahead, he's older, he's jaded. He lost Robin, Joker and Harley killed him, Joker killed him. So he's on the edge, and Alfred's worried for his soul. And what I love here is that it's a darker world, and I think people didn't like this as much too because they don't want to admit that if Superman actually existed in our world, look at how we treat each other in this country. Look how we're treating immigrants right now. Is it really hard to imagine that we're going to treat an alien with godlike powers this way? I love that despite all the turmoil and adversity, Superman overcomes that, but he also brings hope back to Diana and Bruce. Batman has hope again. He's back to being the Batman he was before by the end, and then especially more so in Justice League. The fighting is great, but even just the ideologies by themselves would have been perfect enough. That scene at Lex's banquet was just great. It's like, we're used to people dressed like clowns or something. He's talking about Superman. I love that introduction with Clark Kent. Lex figuring out their identity and pitting them against each other. That whole fight was straight out of Dark Knight Returns, all the way to the Martha scene, which I feel is misunderstood. To me, at least, my opinion of the scene. He was about to become Joe Chill. He thought Superman was just this alien. He didn't know he was like a person with a family, with a loved one, with a mother. But he realized he's about to take this person's life deliberately, with his own hands take their life. Not that they're in the middle of danger shooting at him, like just straight up murder this person. In that moment when he's talking about Martha, he thought about Joe Chill. And in that moment, Batman was going to become Joe Chill. Superman stopped that. And that's why he's like, Martha's not going to die tonight. That warehouse fight is something straight out of Arkham Asylum. And Ben Affleck had a hard task ahead of him following Christian Bale, but what I liked is that was a grounded take, and this was more like the comic books, at least the 80s ones. And I feel like he should have been treated better. And I think even though there might be some better or worse Batman incarnations in the future, I think this is going to be remembered for doing something different, and I think Ben Affleck is going to be more appreciated with time. He is severely underrated, and this was just one hell of a way to continue Batman after Dark Knight Rises in the 2010s. I wish we got more of Ben Affleck's Batman like this, I really do. Next is Batman Under the Red Hood. They kind of shorten some things. They don't have Tim Drake. You get Neil Patrick Harris as Nightwing, but who could forget Jensen Ackles as Jason Todd / Red Hood. Bruce Greenwood surprised me as Batman. Probably my favorite voice actor with Kevin Conroy. I didn't think anybody could like follow him, but like Bruce Greenwood did a hell of a job. And I love this, you know, them fighting in a maze though, and then eventually finding this new player called the Red Hood who's disrupting the drug trade. We get Black Mask in this, Ra's al Ghul. Jason Isaacs as Ra's al Ghul is great. John DiMaggio as the Joker. The Joker in this is just so brutal. You could definitely tell the Heath Ledger inspirations, but I love it when there's the revelation of Jason Todd being alive. The whole backstory there, and then the confrontation of like, it'd be too damn easy to kill him, you know? Every day I think of it. It shows you the difference and why Batman has his code, has his morals, his ethics. It's a sad, tragic story. A great Batman film, but an even better Robin film. Next up is The Dark Knight Returns, and this is the deluxe edition that is parts 1 and 2 put together. I didn't think I was gonna like this, but I actually, in my personal opinion, I enjoyed this more than the graphic novel. Peter Weller, wow, he surprised me, and he was perfect for the role. I remember before they made it, I wanted Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill, but I really love this. You get the Joker in this. You get Carrie Kelly. You get Ariel Winter as Carrie Kelly. You get Two-Face, of course, like in the comic. It's just like the comic while adding its own kind of unique take on things. Superman, Mark Valley is great as Superman in this, and I like the 1980s aesthetic. You could definitely not only read the graphic novels of Year One and Dark Knight Returns together, but you could watch the movies, the Ben McKenzie Year One and the Peter Weller Dark Knight Returns back to back. I do that a lot of times on Batman Day, and they're perfect. They're perfect complementary pieces of starting out and retiring and coming back. I love when he comes back, how he's kind of out of it until like getting back into the groove of things. So the mutant leader, him losing the first fight, finding Carrie Kelly, but then also the second fight where he's just like, you don't understand. This is an operating table, and I'm the surgeon. He's like fighting him in mud. So badass, and this is a brutal movie that I'm surprised it wasn't rated R. Like seriously, it pushed the edge of PG-13, especially the whole tunnel of love scene with Joker. Like Jesus Christ. So much in live action media was influenced by Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns, especially recently with like Joker, BVS, and stuff. But this, it's just a wonderful adaptation all the way to the end, seeing Green Arrow, like everything from the comic that you wanted to see put into animation. But with the style of it, it fits not only Frank Miller, but then its own kind of DCAU take. I love this. This is one of my favorite Batman movies of all time, and probably my favorite animated film from the 2010s. Next up is The Dark Knight Rises. The Fire Rises. This is a film I saw the most in theaters. I saw this 8 times in theaters. I didn't think there's going to be another Batman so soon with BVS, but this is one hell of a conclusion for Christian Bale. I love this movie. This is a war film, and it's weird that they didn't plan a trilogy, but it fit it with like fear, anarchy, war, pain, death. He has to get all that back, the fear of death, and he rises. I love this. It's like a mix of Dark Knight Returns, No Man's Land, Nightfall, Arkham City. It's just like everything rolled into one. Tom Hardy is awesome as Bane. A little different from the comic, but leagues beyond the Batman and Robin incarnation. Anne Hathaway is perfect as Selena Kyle Catwoman. She had the attitude down. Probably one of my favorite Catwoman, along with Michelle Pfeiffer, Julie Newmar, and Adrienne Barbeau from the animated show. The Hans Zimmer score, you get John Blake. Joseph Gordon-Levitt's like an amalgamation of all the Robins. He's a cop like Richard Grayson. He figured out the identity like Tim Drake. Jason Todd, he lost his mom, the whole dad. Like, they mix everything with Robin. It was kind of a grounded take. Gordon is great as always. The whole letter and like the effect of Harvey Dent, the Harvey Dent Act, and what happened in Dark Knight. Joker won so much that his actions still had consequences in the next film. And this is wonderful. That first Bane fight is just visceral, brutal. No music, just pure brutality. And it's crazy I had the back-breaking moment. They have more of a spiritual Lazarus pit in this, seeing Gotham kind of tear itself apart, and then ultimately Batman get out of the pit. I love that with the bats, and then that whole final confrontation of him rescuing the hostages and them fighting to get their city back and stopping the bomb. Marion Cotillard as Talia al Ghul. Love that moment. Like, the fight with the snow is like my favorite image from a Batman movie. And this is such an emotional conclusion to where you really thought he died, and they pull a Dark Knight Returns at the end. And he's there happily ever after at the cafe. Alfred acknowledges that, and it's a perfect ending. Somebody else has a mantle of the bat. This film was kind of hindered in the fact that it probably could have gone on for 2 more films. They could have maybe split it, but I love this. It doesn't feel like it's a 2.5-hour movie. I could have used 30 more minutes. That's how good it was. But, man, this is such a wonderful, seminal conclusion, and Christopher Nolan did not have to make a third Batman movie, but he did, and it was awesome. And I'm glad, because Christian Bale and Nolan were the first people, as far as director and Batman, to do it beyond 2 films. Burton, Schumacher did 2 films. Keaton only went twice, so Bale was the first one to be Batman more than 2 times, and they knocked it out of the park. But as far as like Batman-related films, my favorite from this decade is Joker. The first Joker with Joaquin Phoenix was such an awesome story. It was like a DC Black Label. It's like reading Brian Azzarello's Joker. It has so many influences from Mark Hamill, Nicholson, Ledger. Joaquin Phoenix gave everything, and it gave a tragic backstory. This man dealing with a laughing condition and mental health, Gotham being just dirty and just the worst it's been. But then also, this has a young Bruce Wayne, and it's like secretly an origin film hidden behind it. Thomas Wayne is in this. Arthur suspects that it might be his father. There's a whole girlfriend stuff there that I thought was real, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this is nuts. I thought, well, she's really into a weird guy. Maybe this would be like his version of Harley. No, they take a twist. The stuff with his mother was just screwed up, and then seeing Arthur lose his medical benefits and just slowly unravel is just nuts. But what I love is his performance. He's skinny, unhealthy looking. And you realize the more he becomes himself, more psychotic, more like Joker, the healthier he looks. Such a crazy scene all the way up to the Murray show. The part where he's talking, and it's just like, not everyone is awful. It is just like, you're awful, Murray. Like that part with Joaquin Phoenix's eyes is the moment where Arthur died and Joker was born. It's like, you get what you fucking deserve. That whole ending with White Room by Cream and the riots. Oh my god, the movie could have just ended with him making the Joker smile and then like people applauding. That's where it could have ended it. And then you have that ending with the therapist, and it kind of makes you wonder, is Arthur Fleck a reliable narrator? It kind of goes back to Brian Bolland and Alan Moore's Killing Joke with multiple choice. Overall, this is just a perfect love letter to the character of Joker, and it was cool that Joaquin Phoenix won an Academy Award. They're not the same incarnations of Joker, but it's cool that for the same character, Heath Ledger and Joaquin won for supporting and Best Actor. I mean, that happened with Robert De Niro and Marlon Brando for Vito Corleone in Godfather and Godfather Part 2, so yeah. I love Joker. This movie, all the way to the dance and the steps. And I actually still have not seen the sequel. I saw the ending leaked, and I was like, I don't like that. It's not that what happens, it's just like, I don't like the whole idea of like, this isn't the real Joker. This person's the real Joker. He's the inspiration. It's like, I hated that on Gotham when it was still Cameron Monaghan playing both parts. I don't want to see it again. So I actually have not seen Joker Folie à Deux. Let me know in the comments if I should see it. I almost feel like it. I really do, even if I might not like it. It might be like Highlander 2 where I don't like it, but I can still watch it. Or I might just do it like Space Jam and Independence Day 2 where I'm like, I'm not even going to bother. I'm just going to stick to one film and that's it. Anyway, but that's probably my favorite film of the 2010s from Batman. Let me know your favorite Batman films from the 2010s down in the comments below. Thank you for watching these videos. I hope you all have a wonderful Batman day. Maybe I'll come in and show what I got comic-wise or what I ordered. I'll have a quick little special. I don't know. We'll see what we do on the channel. But thank you everyone for watching these videos and also supporting the channel and your nice comments. Everybody, please be respectful out there. Share your Batman love. And I hope everyone stays safe and healthy. Be blessed, everyone. It's not who you are underneath. It's what you do that defines you.